Number 9, Honorable Swart.
Thank you, Chairs. Thank you, Minister. And just from our side also, well done. A time of hope, a new era, a tough budget. Hope springs eternal in the human breast, as we know. So we are grateful for the savings. It's been a tough budget. Just on the VAT issue, we are a bit concerned about that, and I just want to join my colleagues in asking you, is it possible to look at the list, whether one can add to that list. Then we see the deficit for next year, 18-19, the next financial year, dropping to 3.6%, and again, one hopes that it will, from 4.3%. If you, however, look at the risks that are set out on page 21, there are 3 scenarios which do indicate the Moody's downgrade, state-owned companies, and the third scenario is the more positive scenario, which an increase in business confidence, higher economic growth. Could the DG or Minister give us an indication of, it's difficult to be prophetic almost, but how significant are these risks? One hopes that economic growth will improve. But to me, the second scenario, and I'm pleased that you met with the ratings agencies, but the second scenario of the SOEs is, as we know, a very significant risk. And on that score, as you know, I've been very involved in the Eskom inquiry, and it's been absolutely, it's been shocking to see the revelations that we've found there. And we are welcome the steps to address SOEs and Eskom in particular with the new board. But Minister, maybe you can assist us a little bit in that regard. The Government Shareholder Management Bill, which is a direct result of the Presidential Review Committee report on SOEs. Now that aims to set a legislative framework for all the SOCs and how they will function, what the roles of the boards, the executives. And it's not under your domain directly, it's under public enterprises, but maybe you could give us an indication of the progress with that bill that will go a long way to streamline the different SOEs in line with the Companies Act and the PFMA Act. Then I'd like to just also ask, in view of the fact that the rand has strengthened quite significantly, that obviously has had a positive impact on debt repayments where we've got foreign denominated debt. And can you, DG, you might not have the figures now, but give us an indication of the savings that have been achieved and that are envisaged to be achieved with a stronger currency. Then the last issue briefly relates to the quite substantive issues relating to drought, not only in the Western Cape, throughout the country. And on page 79, there's quite a large issue relating there as to how to assist with drought provisions. One of the concerns that has come across my path is that certain canals are not being maintained in various areas, including the Western Cape. And where you have rain and the canals are not being maintained, obviously the rain flows into the sea. And I understand that even in the Western Cape, there are canals that are not being maintained, and it's an indication that the money will only be available in June. The rains come now in March. And again, it's anecdotal. I can provide further evidence if necessary, but this is an issue which is a major concern. So maybe we can just comment on that and how the reduction on capital expenditure impacts that. I welcome the 26 billion, which is a saving for this year, but it is, as my colleagues have mentioned, a bit of a concern that some of it relates to capital expenditure on page 53, where we reduced in large programs, including incarceration. Now, as you know, I'm on the Justice and Prisons Committee. Does that also mean that some of the correctional services plans and proposed prisons are going to be reduced? Thank you, Chairperson, from my side.
Thank you, Honorable Swart.